Hey, so we have gone over voltage sources, resistors, adding resistors in series and adding resistors in parallel, as well as op amps or operational amplifiers. At least touched upon the subject of op amps. So one of the next things I want to do is go over the subject of capacitors. Capacitors can be thought of as an analogy to a spring in a circuit. Capacitors can also act as temporary batteries for voltages, and so a capacitor in DC is going to be open and short in AC. A capacitor is open in DC or direct current and a short in AC, alternating current. Okay, so let's see, we're going to do a voltage source over here, and then we're going to have a capacitor. Let's have two capacitors actually. And then we're going to have a ground over here. And then a wire these up. These are going to be added in series. Actually, they are connected in series. However, they're going to be added up in parallel. And we will show how that works. So if this is a voltage source of 12 volts, and this is a capacitor of 100 micro and 100 micro, then what's going to happen to these in series? So having two capacitors in series, we're actually going to add them in parallel. It's the inverse of what we would expect with resistors. Remember, two resistors in series or multiple resistors in series, you add them sequentially. However, capacitors, since they are the nature of capacitors is that if you see them in series, you add them in parallel, and if you see them in parallel, you add them in series. So just the opposite of resistors. So if we have, let's see if I can write a comment here. Comment. Oop. That was component, excuse me. It's text. Okay. We have text, so it's going to be 1 divided by C equivalent is equal to 1 divided by C1 plus 1 over C2 plus dot dot dot. So 1 over C equivalent is equal to 1 divided by 100 times 10 to the negative 6 okay plus dot dot dot, and then you take the whole thing and you invert it by 1 C equivalent is equal to all of this quantity to the negative 1. And anything to the negative first power is just the 1 over it, right? So we're going to see if we can do a calculation in the calculator. Microfarad plus 1 over 100 microfarad equals 2 over 100 microfarad. And to check that, we're going to do 6 times 6 to the negative 6 times 10 times 100 microfarad. And that's basically 1 over this. So this shoot. Okay, now we have it. It's going to be 1 divided by 100 microfarad. And then since that's 1, this plus 1 over 100 microfarad, that's going to be times 2. So it's 0.02, and invert that, we're going to have 50 microfarads. So if we have two 100 microfarad capacitors and we add them in series, mathematically we're going to add them in parallel, it's going to be 50 microfarads. So it's going to be, the value is going to be halved. It's going to be halved. Okay? All right. So equivalent capacitance is going to be, let's see if we can do a dot operating point. Okay. All right, so then 100 plus 100 in parallel is going to be 50 microfarads.